production.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Talk Live. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest co-host in all the land, Mr. Sean Capri. I saw that earlier. You are okay. You are. Oh man, that's a good thing. I'm trying to there you go. I'm moving stuff around. Don't just ignore me. Just ignore me. No. We're fine. Just calm down. This isn't if we were in Nintendo. You're fine. This is my show, okay? So you need to relax a little bit. Don't be coming in here all hot and stuff and trying to, There was a time when you. Oh shoot. Good Lord. How about we just start?
See, you don't even have to worry about it.
I know, we should probably start over. Oh boy. I apologize, people. I forgot to turn show. I did click it, but that's what I did. I clicked it and I hit the overlay by mistake. Mm-hmm. And then the overlay was whacked up and I was like, oh man, and I forgot to unmute you. Anyway.
You don't have to be embarrassed, Bobby. It's just me.
It's fine. Whatever. It is what
You're not
it is.
embarrassed.
I'm not embarrassed at all. So there was a time I want to preface this with the fact of there was a time, right?
Yeah.
When I was doing this show, but I was also with you and Toby.
Yep.
At the same time, and we were doing the Gaming Gurus at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Both you and Toby both told me you had zero interest to come on this show.
Yeah.
0 interest. So I never offered the invitation.
I never, well, I remember saying that, but I don't think I really ever meant it, but I don't think you picked up on the fact that I was like joking, but half joking and half serious. I don't even know why I said it. I shouldn't have said anything before.
I think you partially said it because the fact that
I never expected you to ask me to be on, so I just wanted to make it, it's okay if I say it first.
Yeah, but at the time I really had no intentions of bringing you guys on because we were doing so much together as it was.
Right, exactly. So I just didn't want to be hurt by you not asking me on. So I'm like, no, just never even think about it.
Listen, it's fine.
But then you had Kevin Austin on.
Well, that has something to do with it.
And then I'm like, all right, I can't.
That was a mistake. Trust me.
Remember, it's like the Josh Brandt on We the Gamercast. You're like, okay, well, if Josh Brandt is going to be on We the Gamercast, I got to get on the show. I'm the geek guru, for God's sakes. Pretty much what happened.
All right, so listen, here's the deal.
Does the show work again?
I'm going to ask you some questions.
What do we do?
Then we're gonna just relax, all right? Don't start this stuff. This is the problem with you. I'm already regretting asking you to come on because all the other guests are all chill and laid back, and it's fun.
Look, somebody's got to stand up for himself. You had Jonathan Brown, Purple Monkey, on here, and you just shit on him for an hour.
Hey, first off, watch the language, all right? This is family friendly channel.
Okay. You
Calm
shooted
down.
him. You pooped on him.
Good Lord, Canadians. So. But the other thing, too, is, like, the overlay is very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, as I was building the overlay today, I was like, man, I would really like to use something similar to this for if we were at Nintendo.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a nice little overlay, right?
I got my coffee and everything.
Yeah,
I don't drink too much coffee on podcasts anymore. I podcast too late now.
I know, that's the problem.
I really miss the, 8 in the morning, wake up early, start your day with podcasting with Bobby. I miss those days,
man. Those were the days, man. Those were awesome.
I don't like being relegated to the nighttime.
Yeah, those were good days, man. Those were really, really good days when we did that. So listen, we're gonna kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our geek outs.
Shout outs! Oh my god! Yes, it's time for a shout out. Garrett Bland is in the chat. Dude 427's in the chat. Brendan Myers.
So on this show, the way I start all the episodes off is I start with 3 questions, and the funny thing is I kind of know the answers on some of these with you.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
I said I kind of. I didn't say I do. So,
I've been lying this whole time. I've been waiting to get on the show to set the record straight.
So the first question is what was the first Nintendo console that you ever owned?
The first one that I spent with my own money,
no,
or that I.
But
the first one,
the first one that you had in your mitts, whether it be whatever. It
was a green Game Boy. It was that green, that perfect. I don't know. It's not lime. It's not quite lime. It's like a deep forest green, and I ended up buying it at the exact same time as Donkey Kong Land with the yellow. So I had a green Game Boy and a yellow cart. Just like this perfect, which if you don't know, the football team, the Canadian football team here, Bobby, it has the exact same colors as the Green Bay Packers. So there's a lot of people here in Edmonton who love the Green Bay Packers because it's the same colors. So I had a Green Bay Packers setup there. I had an Edmonton Eskimos, which I don't know if we're allowed to even use that word anymore. Remember we talked about this, the Eskimos? Did we talk about this?
Is that racist?
That's our football team. I don't know.
Or is it
do they have Eskimos in America? Wasn't that you? And you said
yeah. Alaska, we have them.
Yeah. You have Eskimos in Alaska.
I think we do. I don't know. I could be wrong.
So, anyways, the green Game Boy is the first, whatever year that was. I appreciate that, Garrett Bland. That was my first one. I bought it with my own money. Did you know that I was delivering flyers? I've basically been working nonstop since I was 8 years old.
Really?
I've never not been working since I was 8 years old. Aside from vacation and things like that, I've been basically employed this entire time.
Get out.
So I was always my parents had 4 kids, right? And so they decided education was very important for all of us, but ain't no way they're putting fronting the bill for 4 kids going through college. Even in Canada, it's very expensive. And so they decided that we were going to have to get a job and we're going to have to put away half of our money, every paycheck, into this magic box of savings. And that was it. Starting from grade 3, we were delivering flyers. My parents would help us out a little bit, but they would take half of every single check and put it into a savings account for school, so that eventually when we all turned 18 or whatever, graduated high school, we had a big pot of money that we'd been saving for however 10 or 12 years that we'd been saving money for.
Ooh.
So that means that even though like half the money went to education, which always pissed me off, I really hated that I was like busting my nut trying to, well, probably not that. I trust my butt, busting my butt. With these flyers, and like winters here are awful. Like delivering flyers in Canada,
Yeah.
you earn your paycheck, man, and it's like fractions of a penny per house.
So, okay, let me understand this right properly. Why were you saving for your regular school?
For college. So like,
Okay.
because my parents like knew that one day they really wanted us all to go to university and everything,
Yeah.
but they weren't going to pay for it, and they didn't want us to take student loans out. Like my dad was really against like student loans.
Well, of course. Look at how it is in the United States right now.
I mean, it's similar here, but I don't know if it's quite as expensive.
Yeah.
Like school, when I went to school, it was probably $4,000 or $5,000 a semester, like books and tuition. Like it was probably like $10,000 a year.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad.
No, that's not
But
bad.
I had enough legit, Bobby. I had enough saved up for my full. I mean, it took me longer than 4 years because I was
Because you're dummy.
like, I was a big dum dum.
Joseph
well,
Moran
the
would
thing
say.
is, like,
Joseph Moran
here's-
would say, "Dumb idiot."
I love that. It's so cute. I feel like a Dumbo. My big nose, the elephant. So yeah, man, I had a job. I had a way of making money, like basically from when I was a kid.
Mhm.
But I didn't have that much. Like it wasn't a crazy amount. So there was
Yeah.
between that and like birthday money and things like that, I had saved up for this Game Boy. And I just remember thinking I was never going to be allowed, like we were never allowed to have consoles in the house. That was never going to happen.
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
you that, and that's why I was saying like,
What is it like, Mom and Dad? What is that about?
yeah, what's up with that?
And like what? So, and I feel like they let the kids kind of find out these loopholes in their rules way too easy. Like they said no consoles, but like Game Boys were allowed. Like just because it's not plugged into a TV, this is better.
Yeah.
So instead of like hogging the TV, I'm just gonna go play Game Boy in my bed. Like
Yeah, but but the weird thing is that your dad, PC
Mhm.
gamed.
Right, and that's right. So we had a PC in the house, but that was for like word processing and homework and like
Yeah.
what the heck was the encyclopedia, Britannica,
Yeah.
Microsoft or whatever it was. So it was really for like research and stuff.
Yeah.
So we always had Word Perfect on PC, and Neighbor Matt was how I really got all my gaming in with Nintendo. But
So
I bought that sucker with my own money. I even had Kirby's Dream Land, Bobby. But we gotta keep
we don't
going.
care
We can't
about
end
that.
the
We
podcast.
care less about that. We care less about that. So the question is this: so your first console is also the first console you ever bought. So,
That's right.
So you did a twofer. You wiped out
Yep.
the first two questions. The third question is what is your favorite Nintendo console?
I might be up there, man. Like I have a ton of nostalgia for that thing.
Mhm.
But this is a hard question. I think. I think the proper answer. I think the one that I really believe is my favorite is probably the Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
But like if I really go through it, like the Wii, I think very much like you, like revived a lot of my love for Nintendo. 3DS in another era, kind of just like renewed my like it kind of like carried me through into adulthood. Like the Wii was kind of like college, like just kind of messing around with my Wii.
Yeah.
That's honestly, it's a hard question. I know you asked that to everybody, and everybody's kind of got their. It's definitely not the GameCube. I skipped on the GameCube,
Yeah.
so you can just chill out there. Sorry, JB.
I could care less. It's these other idiots that are gonna get mad.
I know. I don't know, man. Because like if I go through it, like the Nintendo 64 is probably where I had some of my best times, hanging out with my friends, playing GoldenEye and Star Fox. Star Fox was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I played. Maybe now we're starting to get back to this where we play on a single map, like for years in a row, like
Yeah.
with Fortnite and things like that. That was basically Star Fox 64. Of course, there's a second one, but who cares about that second one?
Yeah, who cares about that?
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. What is yours? You always say NES,
Super
right?
Nintendo.
You say Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over the map on this one because like I didn't own a Super Nintendo, but like I feel like those are some of the best games. And played a ton of course, UN Squadron. So my favorite game of all time is on Super Nintendo. So maybe I'll land on that.
I have never seen anybody ever struggle this hard to just tell me what their favorite Nintendo console was.
I don't know, man. Don't
Just
you want to talk about this a
Pick
little bit?
one, man. Just pick one.
I feel like you've seen people struggle with this because I hear you.
No,
shit,
I haven't. Everybody's, you know,
Always
the only people that struggle are the ones that I tell they can't pick the Switch. That's when the struggle happens.
Oh, I don't think I would pick this. So I don't think I'm there yet.
I don't think the Switch is there yet. I feel like you still have some time left.
Okay, so process. Okay, you know me, Bobby. It's not the first time we've ever talked. Okay, so not Switch, not GameCube, not Wii U, not Wii. I think I might. I think 3DS. I'm gonna land on the 3DS.
Okay.
Because I also have like the most of them. I think just by like monetary spending, the 3DS.
I
is
think
the
I'm
winner.
pretty close with you.
That's a special device. And right behind it is the SP.
I think that's why. I think that's when we realized that we were in love with each other. When we realized that like we had a lot of the same stuff in our collections. Like we had these crazy 3DS collections, and you had the Skylanders thing, and then the Amiibo thing, and I had the Amiibo thing. It was like these crazy. You know, Chelsea's got no chance.
I know.
Like I can't talk about really what happened today, but that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, she wasn't really all that impressed. She might be worried. She might be genuinely.
She better be. I'm just telling you right now. If you're watching right now, Chelsea, you better be scared. I'm just telling you right now.
Better be scared.
Um,
pregnant Bobby pretty soon here.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I've been pregnant for like 18 years. So my question is this: because you're a huge Xbox guy, but Xbox wasn't around when you first started gaming.
Right.
Where does that transition go where you're like into Nintendo, then you go Xbox, and then you've kind of weaned back to Nintendo some, but your heart's still with Xbox. So where does that come in? Because Nintendo's your gateway, but then Xbox becomes your love. How does that happen?
I think part of it is like PC gaming was really like the heart of everything that I did, where neighbor Matt and I were always fighting about like if Half-Life was better or GoldenEye. And of course, Half-Life is the proper answer.
Yeah.
So PC gaming was probably the core of it, but ultimately like I just like video games, man. Like I really like going over there, and Nintendo was, I remember back when the PlayStation was coming out, and neighbor Matt and I would just basically make this like brotherhood that like we would never like PlayStation. Sorry, Joseph Moran. Like we just like we're like, what are those buttons? What are those triangles and shapes? Like this is a child's thing. Like who cares? Like it's always gonna be Nintendo. And then eventually he ended up getting a PlayStation and everything else. So I was really Nintendo for the longest time, and with my parents always saying no consoles in the house, like we didn't really have much of a choice until the Dreamcast came out. And so Dreamcast came out in 1999, and then the original Xbox came out in 2000. And that's when my younger brother and I started teaming up. We're like, these things are expensive and we're both going to play them, so like let's split the cost. And we bought both of those things together. The Dreamcast we bought together, and we bought the Xbox. I know this is Nintendo Talk Live, but it's eventually going to come around.
This is why I wanted, but I asked the question, so I asked.
Yeah, so I just like video games, man. Yeah. And I think that was right around the time of the GameCube, and I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. I hated the controller. I still do. I think the name was silly. It was too on the nose for me, GameCube, and it was a cube. It had the little handle and everything. And the discs, back then, you looked at a disc like that and you're like, that's stupid, that's small. Like that actually like weighed into your decision making, or at least it did for me at the age that I was. Yeah, like I mean, Nintendo fans are like, thank God it's on a disc now.
I was smart enough to realize that Nintendo was the best, so it didn't matter to me if it came on a disc or whatever.
Especially when they launched that thing without a Mario.
Yeah, that was that. It's funny because when I was talking to JB last week, he was kind of getting offended when I was saying that Sunshine was a train wreck, and the story goes that Nintendo launched with Luigi's Mansion, and Nintendo fans lost their minds. I was one of them. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, where's Mario at? Why are I don't want to play with Luigi. And, you know, so when Nintendo started getting all this flack, they rushed. They put the pressure on EAD and Miyamoto, get this game done, get it out. And they actually shipped it very buggy. It was very bad. And
also the name. I don't like the name Sunshine.
I don't mind. That don't bother me. I could care less about that.
You had Mario 1, 2, 3, you had World, you had 64. These all make, like, World is just like, it doesn't get any bigger than this. It's the whole world.
Yeah.
64 is the number of bits. Like, it works with, like, I like the naming convention that they used to have back in the day with, like, Super, and everything was Super on Super Nintendo, and everything was 64 on the 64. And then you just lose it all. Yeah. I just felt like that kind of spoke to how the GameCube didn't really have an identity, to be honest with you.
Pretty much it did. But the GameCube was also the console of quirkiness. I mean, like, that was the era where Nintendo just went real strange with everything. You know, like Ocarina of Time, fantastic game, but then they followed up with Majora's Mask, which is a really strange and awkward Zelda game, which I personally don't consider it a Zelda game. I just think that just because Link's in there doesn't make it a Zelda game, but I got
Well, then Wind Waker. Like nobody knew what to make of Zelda at that time.
yeah.
Like that's the run that you have. It's kind of just totally bizarre. Like that was a time for like they did a lot of weird experimenting at a time where they really just needed to like settle down and solidify what the heck it meant to be Nintendo, and they just kind of just went totally crazy. Meanwhile, PS2 is solidifying, and then Xbox kind of came in. So you have to remember too, like at that time, I was just getting into high school, right? So that I think a lot of people kind of go through this at some point in their lives, where they're like they kind of just want to move away from Nintendo as well.
Yeah.
Like the time is done for the kiddie games, and I think we all kind of like the sensible ones come back around and go, "That's stupid.
Yeah.
You should always have Nintendo in your life because they make some of the best games ever."
That's the
but
thing.
that was a huge part for me in 2000.
I mean, for me personally, that's the thing that always brings me back time and again. Like, regardless whether it's a Mario game, and you've played a Mario game a million times, they always find a way to tweak it enough to make it feel fresh and brand new again. And multiple times through my life, there was these moments where I would play a Mario game, and all of a sudden it was like, this is like me playing Mario for the first time all over again. And it just makes me fall back in love with it hand over fist, like big time, you know? Like I remember playing Galaxy for the first time and thinking like,
oh my God.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh my, this is like I'm playing on the NES again. First time experiencing a Zelda game. Like this is fantastic. And then the first time when they were like, hey, take your Wiimote and turn it to the side. And you're running and you're doing, and I'm like, what is going on right? This is a Nintendo controller.
I know, they thought of everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's been in my hands this whole time. How did I not see this?
Yeah.
And they just make it so simple. Yeah, of course.
It was amazing.
The Wii was special, man.
Yeah.
I know it's fun to kind of like crap all over it, but it's a really awesome console. I really enjoy that.
I was thinking about this is funny because I was thinking about tomorrow I'm going to actually hook my Wii U up back here.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to do on stream bowling and golf.
Oh my God, dude.
Because
awesome.
it has the sports club, the Wii Sports Club, and it has like the I have all of my baseball. Like I bought them all, and I love it.
You ever had that one? You know what always upset me with the Wii is that Wii Sports came in that little like card, like that little sleeve. Like back then, I had all my games and my movies and everything just like set up. I had like the towers and everything. Like just it's so gaudy. Yeah. And I kind of wish I still had it, to be honest with you. Like everything's kind of like put away and it's like in the closet and everything like that. But you used to have people come in and go like, "Oh, this guy's got like 50 games and like 200 movies or whatever it was." I miss those days, but it always upset me that like I'd have my game collection and this stupid little like
I know
like the best game on the thing. It didn't have a good.
It was like an AOL disc. Like when they shipped you an AOL disc.
Well, that's the second time I've been talking about AOL today, man. Get out of my head. That's so funny.
What Wii did you have? What version of the Wii did you have?
I actually have. Well, I have the original one, but I also have one of those minis.
Oh, did you really?
Remember the little without. What was the deal with it? What didn't it? It didn't have
It didn't have
internet. It didn't have internet. I was like, because I was about to say internet, but I'm like, that doesn't make any sense in my brain.
It didn't have internet.
It doesn't have internet. Because we only had Wi-Fi. You couldn't plug in just like pretty much anything else. You always had to have an adapter to it.
Well, newsflash, Sean. The actual the Wii itself doesn't have internet anymore either.
I know that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just like, why would it have even less than that? The Wii had internet.
The Wii had internet, but I'm saying now they just stripped it down and they pulled the eShop or I mean, it's basically done.
The Wii was something special for me, man. If we want to talk about the Wii for a second, because and I didn't realize until later that basically the guts of it is the GameCube. They just sort of like recycled the GameCube.
GameCube, basically.
I really had no idea about that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first time I held a Wii remote. I was actually working at Canadian Best Buy called Future Shop, and a couple of my friends there, like everybody, when you work in a place like that, everybody's a geek.
Yeah.
No matter the department you're in, like car audio or whatever, you're selling computers, everybody's a total nerd. And so some people had brought it in, and they were playing on like the big old, like the big screen TVs, but back then they were like the projection, like the rear projector ones. And I just remember they're like, here, try it, like type in your name. And I remember holding it and like just moving it and just how sensitive and accurate it was. Like totally blew my. Reminded me of the first time I played Mario,
Yeah.
and like how I'm moving what's on the TV. Like I'm supposed to turn this thing on, and like programming is supposed to be coming back to
Yeah.
me. It was the same experience. I didn't understand how I still don't really understand how the sensor bar worked.
Yeah.
Like it was just so smooth, and I'm like, all I want to do is just like type on this thing. I've always hated, and I still to this day hate typing in Wi-Fi passwords and usernames, just going like click, click, click. Even with the PS4's touchpad,
Yeah.
I think it's brutal. I think nothing could ever touch entering. I mean, as exciting as that is, nothing can touch how the Wii entered text. But
Yeah,
it was amazing, man.
The thing with the Wii for me was when they first announced it. I remember when they first talked about it, right? And I was at the time I was really on the fence of leaving gaming. The GameCube's still around. PS2 is there. The PS3 I think got launched or was about to get launched, and they were like they were coming in like astronomical figures.
PS3 would have been a couple of years. I think it was Wii and then 360, if I remember.
Okay,
and
but
PS3.
But PS3 was the astronomical numbers, and I was like, I'm not spending $600-700 on a home console. Like that's not even happening. Like forget about it. So I was like, that's not going to happen. I'm not going down that road. So I'm on the fence, and Nintendo announces the Wii. And it isn't an announcement at an E3 or anything. I'm watching a thing, and they're talking about it. And they're talking about, like, this Wiimote and this thing, and the future of Zelda is, you know, you could have, like, a bow and an arrow, and you could reach back and pull it out. And I went, I don't want nothing to do with this.
Oh, really? That didn't sound amazing to you?
No. I was like,
my friends were like, you swing it around and it swings a sword. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, we were talking about that since, like, the trackpad or whatever, when you run on the spot. We wanted to play, like, Mortal Kombat by, like, doing kick motions and stuff. Like, we wanted the Kinect experience, essentially.
And
this was that.
And I was out. And I was like, I remember talking to my stepbrother about it. I'm like, I'm not buying this thing. This is garbage. And I left gaming at that point. Completely. And then... What was it? 2 years later, I was at my brother's house. Not like a year and a half later, I'm at my brother's house, and now the thing's launched. It's only a few months old, and we're down there. And one of his friends had one, and they brought it over to the house because I was going down for a NASCAR race, and they brought it over to the house. And I'm bowling, and I'm like, I need this thing.
Yeah,
like
man.
I have to have this
That's
thing.
crazy.
And then the problem is they're not in stores. You can't find them anywhere. And I was like, this is madness. Like
that was a pivotal moment for you, because then you just start pre-ordering everything from then on out, no matter how bad the January 7th, 12th, whatever presentation was for the Switch. You're like, well, I'm not having that week.
No. I had no qualms. You were the one that was very hesitant.
I know. Well,
you were yelling at me, and you're yelling at me, and I'm pre-ordering 2 of them in the middle of the podcast.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that they were hard to get, because for me, I was the same thing. I didn't even know like what date this thing was coming out. I didn't know. I was not into like watching E3. I was not up to date on my Nintendo coverage. And then all of a sudden, I work the Wii launch, and I'm handing out these things to everybody who pre-ordered it. Like there's this big table set up, and we're handing out, of course, Twilight Princess, but Red Steel as well, and extra controllers, and trying to upsell warranty on everything. And I get caught up in the hype big time, man. Everybody is into this thing. I'm like, son of a bee sting. Like, I need to have this. Like, I hadn't even wanted a Nintendo thing in forever. I remember my uncle bought my cousins a couple of DSs when they were kids, and I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever saw. Like, who the hell wants even that? And then, of course, later I realized that was an ignorant thing to say. And so, of course, you couldn't get a Wii, and I wanted one really badly. And I just happened to be right near the customer service desk as some lady comes in, and she's like, I would like to return this. My kids were being brats, and I was going to buy this for them, and I'm taking it back. They're not getting it. And I'm like, so if you like, and there was a huge rule. If you worked in the store, you are not allowed to get a Wii. Like, they were for customers first. Yeah. And so all of us were just like trying to figure out how the heck are we going to get our hands on one of these Wii's. People were going to like other stores, but then that store like rat them out, and those guys would get reprimanded for it. Like, it was a big deal, man. Like they were so hard to come by.
They were.
So anyways, this lady comes in, returns her thing, and I'm like, is there any rules on returns, like open box stuff? And they're, nope. Boom, that was mine. So not only did I get it like very quickly at the start, like maybe within a month and a half, I paid less for it because it was open box. So I got it at a discounted price. I paid less than anybody else did at that time. Meanwhile, people were paying like thousands of dollars on eBay and whatever. So I got a good deal on that, man.
Wow.
The Wii was a good time.
That's crazy.
Then I spent, I mean, how much did we spend on extra controllers and
I'm that way right now with the Switch. Like,
Are you?
I'm
Yeah.
out of control with the Switch, man.
Yeah.
I have
control's the word.
I have multiple controllers.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple Joy-Cons. Like it's a madhouse. Like it is insane. Real quickly before we move on, let's just jump into the chat a little bit. I just want to say hi to a couple people. So we got Brendan Myers. What is up, Brendan? We got Garrett Bland. Hello. Deuterino, as always, representing. Nasty Boots is in the house. Aaron
Aaron
Doherty. Luke Lure in the house. He's lurking at the moment. G Akers is here. What's up, G? Bobby Miller is here. And Bitbop is here. How you doing? And so here's the thing.
Bitboop. Twin World Game Reviews.
Oh, there you go. Twin World's here too.
Nice.
So the thing is, the Wii was. I feel like the Wii. It's special to me because it brought me back.
Same here.
The Wii U hits. What was your feeling? Because at that point, I mean, you're in Xbox.
I was in, man.
Yeah.
And I was dating Chelsea at the time.
Yeah.
Chelsea and I would have been dating for a couple of years at that point, maybe a year and a half by the time it comes out, and she's all in, man. Like,
yeah.
I remember that I knew that like this thing was for real. The night that she invited me over, she's like, bring a couple movies over and come over, we'll watch the movies. And I'm like, well, what do you want to watch? She's like, well, pick a couple and just like let me know, and we'll work from there. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I've got like Wolverine and Resident Evil, like whatever Wolverine movie was coming out that time. And she's like, bring them both. We'll watch Resident Evil and Wolverine. I'm like, this chick is awesome. And so I get there, and she's in a condo on the main floor, right? So instead of like going through the building, I could just go through like her back window or like through the window or the patio window kind of thing.
Sliding glass
So
door.
slide it open. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So I slide it open, and she's sitting there on her couch playing Ocarina of Time, and I'm about to like, say hi and talking to her like normal people do when you kind of like come together, and she gives me one of these, just a second, and she is laser focused in on her game.
No.
I'm like, I'm not even mad. You can play. Let's sit here. We don't even have to talk. You can just play Zelda this whole time, man. So, like, fast forward however many years, and that's why we had to name our kid Link.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to.
That's amazing. It's amazing how you go from Link to Bobby
to Ellie
to Bobby.
Oh, to Bobby. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
I
thing,
know.
man.
I know. It's really Bobby Capri, my second born. So by then, Chelsea was working at Nintendo. Here, she was like a merch person. She was one of those like swag people. She'd go to the stores and help people play the demos and things like that. So she was getting like free stuff all the time. She's getting 3 free DSs and everything. And then she quit, and then the Wii U was released. And we had both decided, like, we're getting that thing day one. We're getting that Pro Edition, the 32 gig black one.
That's what I did.
So we'd, like, pre-ordered it, got it day one. And I remember bringing that thing home and just, like, it being so slow. And, like, it just did not
Took
have
forever to get to the games. And
So I remember just not having, and I remember thinking, like, did I set my expectations too high for this thing? And I don't think that I did. We just really worked at trying to love this thing. I remember trying to, like, bring people in. We had people over at the place I was living at the time. We're like, guys, come play this Nintendo Land. And they're like, yeah, no, like, it's just not. Like, people would come to give it a try, like, that's neat, and then they would kind of go away.
Yeah. Nintendo Land, and the thing was Nintendo Land never grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
Never grabbed me. I did like the Zelda. I did like the Zelda game, but that was it.
Yeah,
the rest of them, I wanted nothing to do with. I just thought, like, this is an absolute waste of life, a waste of game, a waste of a console. It wasn't until probably year 2, I really felt like in year 2, like, there was almost this giddy up, like, here we go, and then it died after that. Like, year 2 was basically this fire of, like, Donkey Kong Country hits. You had Mario Kart hit that year, Smash hits that year. Like, we started to get this momentum. Then I was like, "Here we go, man! Here we go!" And then it just died.
Yeah.
I mean, I love.
You know what, man?
I love
the
console,
thing is that people love to hate the Wii U.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, there was some people had very objectively truthful criticisms of it, but like people were dogpiling on the Wii U. Like it was everybody's punching bag.
Oh yeah.
It was cool to hate on the Wii U,
Yeah.
and that's a hard thing to get out of, man.
Yeah.
Like the Xbox, I think struggles with that a little bit now. Like it's
Yeah.
fun to hate on that. Everybody gets it every once in a while.
Yep.
Like it just things get blown out of proportion. I remember eventually you and I connected in the Wii U era.
Yep.
I remember like we would be talking to like we were big into NVC, IGN's podcast, Nintendo Voice Chat, and just like chatting with Pierre, going, what is the deal? Like these guys got enough games, and I remember even he was like, you know what, guys, nope,
Yeah.
it's not the same. It's not good enough. It's just not good enough. I'm like, oh, if even he thinks that, then
Well, the crazy thing is like I really had myself convinced. You know,
so did I that it was gonna like turn around and like.
well,
kinda make it
no. That it was enough. I had myself really believing because I felt like I'm in the ecosystem. I have a 3DS. I have a Wii U. You know, I play one, and then a new game comes out in the other, and I shift, and I go play the other one, and then a new game comes out in this one. I go back and back and forth, and I was like, if you're in the ecosystem, everything's good. And then the Switch hit, and I was like, man, I had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's like when Nintendo basically came out during the Wii era and was like, you don't need HD. You don't need HD. Like, it's not a thing. And I'm like, nope, we don't need HD. We don't need HD. We're fine. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, I was like an apologist for a lot of things about the Wii U, especially the gamepad. I'm like, why is everybody hating on this gamepad? Like, just ignore it. It's just everybody's waiting for like this existential reason for like to smack us in the head. Like, this is why it exists. This is why it's here. And it's like, who cares? This thing like doesn't take away from anything. It adds to it. But then we got the Switch, and we realized Nintendo can actually build hardware that feels great in our hands. We're like, oh my god, you hold the Wii U gamepad now.
Yeah.
Fisher Price, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing.
So I was blind to that for sure.
The thing too is that I don't think people really, or I think where Nintendo dropped the ball was, one, it was taking them much longer to get a grasp on HD than it should have. But that's because, you know, people forgot that like both Xbox and PlayStation also struggled too. And by the way, the PS3. Well, PS4, Xbox One, and the PS3 and Xbox 360 all struggled with 1080. Nintendo was the only one banging it out at 1080 60. Hell, yet the original Xbox One couldn't even achieve 1080. It was 900 most of the time. So for me, I look at it and I go like, hey, they took a while to kind of get the ball rolling, but I think their biggest issues were, I think if they would have had Wii Sports hit at the beginning again, because I was listening to NVC, and this is what made me want to hook my Wii U up. I was listening to NVC the other day, today, and they were talking about the Wii U Sports, Wii Sports Club.
Yep.
And that golf, where you actually put the gamepad on the ground, and it shows you the surface you're hitting off of. If it's in the rough, it looks like a ball in the rough, and if it's in the sand trap, it's a ball in the sand. And it's like, it was kind of cool. Like. Yeah. And I felt like if they would have stepped that up and had that out at launch, right? Wii U Fitness, whatever, you know, if that would have been out at launch, and I always have said if Splatoon had hit like year 1, year 2, I think we're talking a different tale because it shuts people up immediately from that. Where's the killer app? You know, and I mean, there still wasn't games, and that was ultimately what killed that console. They couldn't get third parties to support it, and that just it killed it.
I just think overall, I remember even when the Switch was about to come out, and then Nintendo was like, you know what, we're going back to our red. Like the color of Nintendo is red, and I remember thinking like, well, yeah, like look at our Wii, like look at the color on this Wii U game. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
it's this like, who cares? This doesn't excite anybody.
No.
Green, like these primary colors. I don't know if is green primary? No, green's not a primary color.
No.
It's yellow is a primary color.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember just thinking like it's punchier.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's Nintendo, and I feel like the color that represented the Wii U is just like emblematic of the entire system itself. It just didn't know what it was. It launched in this like middle of nowhere land. Like what generation? What did it represent? Did you like nobody knew where to place it?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of it. Like fans didn't know how to place it.
Yeah.
Developers didn't know like where to place it. So it just kind of existed. And then, you know, we all kind of wished for Nintendo to just go software, to stop making hardware. We forgot that they could actually create
something
really
exciting.
Cool interactions between hardware and software. Meanwhile, we're all playing like 3DS. Thank God for the 3DS.
Oh,
Right
3DS was amazing. It really was. But that one started out bad too. Like that one really struggled out the
But
gates and
don't you think,
stumbled.
like, because it was a handheld, it was able, like, that was really, I think, the reason it was able to turn itself around. Because if a console fails out of the gates, that is like throw the whole company away. Everybody's losing jobs. It's catastrophic. But a handheld, for whatever reason, just seems like a little more optional, a little bit more like you can fix it, which obviously they did.
It was a dramatic price drop that saved it.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have dropped the price on that thing, they dropped it $100. If they didn't drop that price $100, they're in trouble. And I think that's the other problem with the Wii U was it was a little overpriced. You know, you're talking, what was it, $350 at launch? They lowered the price $50. It was $300. And you think about it, the Switch is $300.
Yeah.
Switch is a far better console than the Wii U, and it's like, you know.
Well, they're selling benefits that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that made that whole thing expensive, it was probably hard to make.
Yeah.
But nobody cared about it. So.
Yeah.
Stupid Wii U.
Twin World said RGB. Red, green, blue.
That's not... Green is made up of yellow and blue, though.
Yeah.
So it's not primary. That's why it got mixed up, though. But I that's the common mistake I made.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I got you, Twin World. But 3DS, so Chelsea got me a 3DS for Christmas. And, like, again, I was back when I was a young kid with my green Game Boy, just, like, playing Mario Kart on my 3DS forever, dude.
Yeah.
Forever. And Street Pass was crazy. I was all wound up in Street Pass trying to just, like, especially when I went on vacation.
Yes.
I was taking transit a lot those days.
I know, man.
And just Street Pass was something special. These are the things.
How was Street Pass in Canada?
It was okay.
Was it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good.
It was crappy for me, unless I hit some place like
parents were wondering why I was hanging out with their kids like elementary schools, but like that was fine.
Well, the funny thing is I had no idea what Street Pass really was because they had set up these. It's crazy. I have a video on the Geek Guru channel where I had a way to actually go hit the Street Pass centers without actually getting out of the car.
Yeah.
And like I had I had this loop every Saturday morning. I would wake up, right, and I would go to Wawa to get my coffee.
I love it.
But the way I would go to Wawa is I would go down the back way, hit Home Depot, right, pull out in front of Home Depot, wait, watch my 3DS blink, drive over to Best Buy, watch my 3DS blink, go over to Starbucks, watch my 3DS blink, and then I would head to Wawa. Go to Wawa, get what I had to get, and then reverse the circle.
I love it.
And go pick up.
And that blink, I'm glad you mentioned it because it created this emotion in me. I look at my 3DS and go like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
what
lit up.
Happened?
Oh, I just gotta like, I know, it's so stupid.
I know.
But for whatever reason, I just wanted to go through Find Me. I just love that thing. I wanted to get all my puzzle pieces. Like that was just, it was ridiculous.
The first time Street Pass was a thing for me was Disney World.
Oh my God! Like breaks the thing.
Oh, well, I was done.
I was in New York City for Pokemon XY launch.
You told me that one time. Yeah. That's good.
I don't even think I got them all. Honestly, I think it just stopped counting.
Well, you know what happens is the problem is you don't realize this. Well, I didn't realize this the first time. You're supposed to clear it out after every 10.
Well, it would have groups of 10.
Yeah, you would do 10. You'd have to clear them out, and then it would reset, and you could do 10. So the most I think I ever got in a day was 100, or maybe close to 100, and that was when I went to New York City Comic Con.
Oh yeah,
and it was like that thing was just constantly blinking.
Where did you go?
Huh?
What year were you there? What year were you?
Oh man,
New York Comic Con.
That was who knows? It was pre.
I was there 2013 and 2014.
I might have been there at the same time, but we didn't know each other then.
No, we would have met. When did we meet? 2016.
I think so. Yeah, because I was a Geek Guru then.
Yeah, probably 2016.
So I think I went 2015. I think I went 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went the year that they had Batman set up. When you went into the convention center to the left, DC had, because that was the year that they were coming back with Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises was about to come out, and they had like the statue of Batman, like the cowl and all that stuff, and they had actually Lego Batman down in the corner and stuff.
Oh,
and,
wow. Yeah, that's pretty recent.
yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was different. But, that's the other thing, too. The tale of two consoles. On the Wii U, like, I hated Ubisoft. Because Ubisoft would constantly take shots at Nintendo, right? And they would constantly put on this gimmick of, like, oh, our games don't sell on the Wii U. And now you turn around, like, everybody wants to be on the Switch because everything sells better on the Switch. And
well, the funny thing is, the first time I just remembered the first time I played a Wii U was at Nintendo World in New York City, and I remember playing Rayman Legends before that and doing the whole like you turn the thing and they had the wheel, and now, at that time it was going to be an exclusive. Yeah. And I was just like, Chelsea, look how exciting this is! It's like the Wii U, and even she kind of was like, I don't know about like something's not quite right about this. Like she sensed it before, until we got the thing.
I'll be honest with you, that game, Nintendo should have fought hard to keep that as an exclusive. But that game, to me, was the killer app. That game took full advantage of that gamepad, and they actually were supposed to put out a line of toys that had NFC chips built into them and all this stuff. Like, they were set to go. And then
Zombie happened. U, between those two games, man, they were there.
They were there. Yeah, Ubisoft knew what the hell they were doing. They were the only ones that knew what they were doing. Nintendo had no clue what it was. EA also, what I liked about Madden on there, was you're playing and you're picking your plays on the gamepad.
Oh, dude, this is the thing, man. I really thought, and at the time, Xbox had Smart Glass, and I really thought at that time that second screen experiences were going to be a huge part of video games, and that has completely gone away. And I am totally shocked that there's no. I guess it's just too much extra development time, and too many different types of screens and too many different types of second screen experiences that you could have. But I really wanted especially for Madden, picking your plays, or really any RPGs like inventory management, or even the fact like if you could have a map going on. I really liked. To me, the Wii U was so. Everybody's wondering like, why does this thing exist? And it's like I was loving my 3DS, and a lot of people before me loving their DS. Like Nintendo had been doing the dual screen thing for a long, long time, so it was so natural. I'm just like, why isn't this translating over? You got your big screen here and this thing in your hands. It was so perfect. You could play it on the toilet if you're close enough. You know what I mean? So it's checking all my boxes, Bobby.
Well, you were the one, too, that always used to say it. Like, it's almost like they forgot how to make dual screen games.
Yes.
It was like you had it down, and now all of a sudden you forgot. And it was like,
my God, what
is going on? Now, the truth of the matter is, and I never played it on the Wii U. I have it on the Wii U. It's right there. Breath of the Wild. My understanding is,
me too.
The best way to play it is on the Wii U, because the map is in your hands the whole time, and inventory management is right there in the whole time.
That'd be cool.
So they say that like playing on the Wii U is actually, and it doesn't look that bad. You know?
I'd try it.
The crazy thing is, like, I was just playing Breath of the Wild before we started the call tonight, and man, they totally fixed that game in terms of, if you remember that when that game first launched, there was a huge slowdown when you got into heavy grass areas. Now, I haven't gone to where the Kuroks live, deep in the forest where the Master Sword is. I haven't been there yet, but so far there's been no slowdown. And I'm like, it's crazy to think that all they did was updated the Wi-Fi and it fixed the slowdown. Like, that game to me is like damn near perfect.
I think that's a great example that people should they should continue to remember, almost like the Shigeru Miyamoto quote that keeps getting misused and whatnot. That like none of us have any idea how these games are made. Like, that makes no sense. Why would that impact the performance of the game? It makes zero sense. So just remember that we're all dum-dums when it comes to games. We have absolutely no idea what makes like the thought of a lazy dev is possibly the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I had met Brian from Image of Form, I had said to him, because I had asked him a question, and I was like, is it true that game development, like the game really doesn't become the game until like the final month or two? And he's like, absolutely.
That's crazy.
He's like, when we made SteamWorld Dig, this is funny. He's like, when we made SteamWorld Dig, he goes, my team kept pushing me to do a wall jump, and I refused to let them implement a wall jump.
Yeah.
And he's like, so basically when we first started doing SteamWorld Dig, he said you would come down, you'd have to go like this the whole way down. He said because his biggest fear was if they implemented the wall jump, people would just go straight down
Yeah.
and they wouldn't explore.
Mm-hmm.
And he said what happened was he went and he took the game to Nintendo and he sat down with them as they played the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "What? This is why is this doing this? Why are we going back and forth? Like, this is annoying. You have to fix this. This can't be the way you should. Like, you do what you want to do. It's your game, but this is a flaw in the game."
Yeah.
And he went back to the studio. He's like, "Okay, put the wall jump in and let it go." But he said to me, he goes, compared to the minute we put the wall jump in, there were two different games.
Yeah. I can imagine
totally different games. And it's just amazing to hear a story like that, to think like we think we know everything there is about games. And when people start riding these companies like EA and all this stuff, and it's like you have no clue what development takes. No idea. The long hours, the thankless hours, the time away from your family. You're just sitting there staring at something.
Just a bunch of 0 and 1s, man. Like, what do they even work in?
And the thing is as you're working on something so closely, sometimes you can't see the issues with the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was funny because I remember when Mario Maker came out. And man, I played some horrible levels.
Yeah.
And some of the worst levels I played were from Toby. And a lot of it had to do with they were very.
Oh my god!
No, it's the truth.
I was thinking, did I just hear you right? Like the way that you said it was so casual.
Well, because it's
like,
true.
That's such a callous comment.
Well, it's true. It's
right.
Because what was happening was he was making these levels super hard, and that's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what I read this article and I passed it to him, and I'm like, Toby, this is the problem. You're building the level. You know where everything is. So you zip through the level and you go, oh, that was easy. I'm going to have to add more enemies. And then you add a bunch of stuff. And then you zip through the level and you go, oh, that's easy. I got to add more. And the guy was like, the guy that wrote this article was a director of a game studio. And he's like, you make the level how you do it the first time. Yeah. Then you don't touch it. Yeah. He's like, because as people play it over and over and over again, it gets easier and easier and easier. And he's like, you just back off. And he's like, the best way to test it is to hand the controller to somebody that's never played the level before and watch what I used to do was I would build a level, pass the controller to Tony, and say, could you play this for me real quick? And she would play it, and I would look at the place where she would struggle and the place where she would zip through, and I would go, okay, maybe I could add one thing here and there. So I used to tell Toby used to get so mad at me because I would tell him that. I'm like, dude, your levels are horrible, man. They're trash. They're so difficult.
He really prided himself on being able to create RPGs and RPG Maker.
He can do well with that. As far as Mario levels, he's horrible, dude.
You're cutting him down right in the heart, man.
Well, somebody has to.
We have 2 copies of Super Mario Maker. We bought a second Wii U when that thing came out because Chelsea and I both were people think people joke around that you put up the tweet Sean Capri is going to be on Nintendo Talk Live and everybody's like, well, why? He hates Nintendo. You know what? I spent I don't know how many thousands of dollars on 3DSs and Wii U's, and we've got 2 Switches in the house, and all you guys got some gall saying that I hate Nintendo. How much money do I spend on these amiibo?
Sean,
and I keep them in the box.
Sean,
all right, Bobby. What?
Why
Bobby?
are you getting offended? It's just me and you here. Calm down.
I don't know. I get a little excited, and it's a little bit of drama.
It's a little. You don't like Nintendo. I get it. I understand.
Dramatic. I'm being a little dramatic. All right. It's a little for show.
Let's be honest.
I get excited about all my things. Look at all my things. They're awesome.
But the truth is, if Chelsea wasn't in your life, you wouldn't have that stuff.
Well, yeah, because I'd be with somebody else who'd be like, "You're not spending your money on that." And I was with Chelsea, who started with Skylanders, and that's the thing, man.
Yeah.
As soon as it's all off screen. It is a closet full of Skylanders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontally, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deep, times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. I'm not joking, man. That is a ton of and Skylanders are great. So as soon as she did that, then Amiibo is a thing.
Then you were like, it's open game now.
I mean, there are no rules. There are no rules.
What's your go-to franchise from Nintendo?
Probably Mario Kart. Mario Kart is
really?
Probably my go-to. I think so. Yeah, I think over the years that's probably been the one that that really stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even Super Mario. I think a lot of people will probably say Super Mario.
Yeah.
My brother knows Super Mario way better than me. Like he showed me the coin. Is it, do you know about this? It's like a floating airship, but it's just coins or something like that. Like you have to have like a certain sequence of completions, and then this thing like appears.
In what
It's
game?
like the secret Mario 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd never even known that, and so he knows that thing like crazy. But I think yeah, probably Mario Kart. I would say it's probably my go-to.
What is your favorite Nintendo collectible that you own?
Ooh,
'Cause you got a
I think
lot of stuff, man.
I do have a lot of stuff. You know, I do like that the Wii Mini. Is it up? Actually, do I have it up there? It was right up there. I don't know if you can. You probably can't see it. It's right up there. It's that's probably one of my favorites. But I don't know, man. I've got a Super Mario's Checkers set up there. God, there's so much, dude. I like the Mario All Stars 25th anniversary for the Wii.
That's a good one too.
That's a good pack.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'll solidify on this. Wii Fit Trainer. Where is she? Wii Fit Trainer was the first amiibo I ever bought.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
It was because Per Schneider was talking about like if you find her, pick her up because she's gonna be rare, and that's probably
Sean,
one of my favorites.
Sell me that Animal Crossing 3DS.
There's no way that's Chelsea's.
Sean, I'm not. We're not debating this. Just
I know, man.
I'll give you what you want. You don't have to worry about it, and we don't have to tell her. She doesn't even have to know about it.
She will definitely know.
It'd be funny if she just come walking down the room right now.
I know, right? That's a great thing, and that probably is one of the most prized possessions in the house as well.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
It's like that's pretty special.
I didn't buy that one because I thought it was ugly at the time.
Oh my God,
now I regret not having it. You know what I mean?
It's so good. I think it's pretty rare too, isn't it? Like I don't think a lot of people have that.
Very rare.
Pretty cool.
You know what I remember? What the first time me and you met when we went to New York City, right? And we went to that Nintendo store, and we're not that Nintendo store. We went to that video game store, and we walked in. They had all them 3DSs there, and they were like $400, $500, $600 a piece.
Yeah,
and we had them all. Everyone that was there, we were like, we have them. We're like,
yeah, maybe we should sell them.
You were like, these things are worth this much?
I know.
Nathan H, indie developer here. Which game do you make, Nathan?
What's up, Nathan? That's awesome.
Yeah, what game you make, Nathan? So yeah, it's crazy to sit there and you go like, this is nuts. That you know, we're sitting there and we're like looking through them all. We're like, I think between the two of us, we probably own almost every single one that's out there. I mean, it's close because I was to the point where I was just buying them. You know what I mean? Like it got so bad. Like I have the Samus one right here.
Well, we would play off each other as well.
Yeah,
at a certain point, it was just like, well, Bobby's gonna get it, then I got it. Like I can't not have it.
Yeah.
I fell off on the 2DS though, and you know what? I really wish. I don't think it's come to Canada yet. I want a 2DS, the Wedge, with Super Mario Maker for Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
I got my eye out for that one so bad, man. I want to get him that so bad. He's a huge Mario fan. I just love it. Yeah. He just loses his mind. It's my favorite thing in the world.
I got
to keep an eye for that.
I want to buy the Animal Crossing 2DS XL. It only came in Japan and it only came in the UK. So I'm like, well, Europe, and I'm gonna buy it. Paul Bite is the game. I've never heard of that game.
Check that out.
I have to check it out.
Cool.
I have to check it
out.
That's awesome. Welcome here. And Nathan, if you want to get on the podcast sometime, hit me up. I'll put my email in the chat if you're interested in hanging out and doing this show or something else. That would be awesome. And yeah, so.
Oh, I see your picture.
See my picture?
No, NathanHerd.com. I think if I'm doing my sleuthing correctly here.
Oh.
Possibly. I could be looking at somebody totally different, in which case I apologize.
Anyway.
What's your favorite? What about not like to turn things around, but like what's your favorite collectible?
My favorite collectible I have?
Like other than Ribble.
Well, Ribble's pretty awesome. But there's unfortunately there's an air can there. You can't really see, but behind it is a gold Mario statue I have. Little figure about this big. It was a Club Nintendo exclusive, only given to Japan. And my mom got it for me for Christmas. Basically what I did was my mom went to Tony. This is how shady I am. My mom went to Tony and was like, what does Bobby want for Christmas? And so,
Yeah.
so Tony Sitter, she goes, what do you want for Christmas? Your mom just told me to put a bunch of stuff in her Amazon cart that she knew that I wanted. And I was like,
sweet.
okay. So I started sending Tony links. I want this. I want this. I want this.
Yeah, man.
And then so my mom bought it for me. She didn't even know what she was buying. And
that's awesome.
it was like $50 or something. But like on eBay, they were going for like $100, $150. So I was like, dude, that's amazing. So I got that thing. I love that thing.
That's sweet, man.
And then the other thing I got that I really like is the Zelda 2 disc.
Yeah.
And that's over right there. It's hard to see. But
You gotta do some of these videos, man. Like that's some good stuff for your YouTube video. Just like rummaging through your stuff and the things that you're most proud about having and stuff.
I mean, I have some really cool stuff in there, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff back there that I love.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people to go check out the Instagram now, because I've been taking pictures of stuff.
Oh, that's a good call.
And posting on Instagram because it's easier. It's hard to go through with a video and just go over every little thing. You'll be scouring for. I mean, I have a wall of Amiibo in front of me. It's nuts. Like I just have. Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Well, I've taken a break. I've taken a bit of a break from like some of the collecting stuff, but like Lincoln is just a couple years away from like father and son going to the store, getting some stuff that's totally needless. Like nobody, like it's not even like a bird. It's just like I'm just gonna go buy him this. I don't really get to buy him anything. Like Chelsea buys him all his clothes and everything. Like I don't really get to do any of that stuff. So it's really special for me when we go to McDonald's and just get him like a little Pokemon toy or something like that. It's pretty awesome.
There's gonna be a day I'm gonna be like, Sean, I'm coming to Canada.
I can't wait.
And then I'm gonna be like, Link, let's go. Come on, let's go to the store.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm saying, man. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I'll be like, listen, whatever you need, bro, go get it.
Yes, bro. I'm telling you, man. You take that kid to any video game store right now because Nintendo's on the top, and they've got Mario everywhere. And he just walks into any store, EB Games or whatever, and he's just pointing. He's just like he's recognizing Mario. He's recognizing himself dressed up as Mario when he was a baby and Chelsea took the newborn pictures.
Really?
He recognizes the cap. He realizes that that's like, it doesn't have to be Mario 64 Mario. It can be like whatever. He realizes like 8-bit, all the different versions of Mario. He's like, he recognizes that's his guy. That is like the coolest thing.
That's pretty awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. And amazing.
Yeah, amazing too. Deuterino, I think I'll do that. I have a plan to do something. What I want to do is I want to do a video of all my custom Amiibo, because I have some pretty cool custom Amiibo. Do you remember the time when somebody, one of these Nintendo insiders, they snagged my Rusty Amiibo off the internet and did a video and all this stuff claiming that Imogen Form was doing a Rusty Amiibo, and it was like, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! Like, really? That's what you people? Like,
that's how they start.
And then I came out and was like, guys, that's mine. Like, I had that custom made. That's not like, what are you doing? It's so funny, dude. They actually took a snip of my video and put it up like, here it is. This is the video. Like they were trying to be like. I'm like, no, that's mine. What are you doing?
That's so funny.
Is it possible for Toby to make a Raibo Amiibo out of one? Man.
Oh, that's a good call. How is that not even a thing yet?
That is true. That is true. I'm gonna.
You know what though, man? Like
I could do that. I can find somebody to do that. That's a good idea. I'm gonna do that.
Before you kick me off of your show,
it's coming. It's coming.
I know, and I'm not even gonna mention the character that ends all shows. Nintendo has this special way of like lodging itself in people's minds and their hearts and forging relationships. Like neighbor Matt and I, we had our relationship forged in Nintendo. Chelsea and I have our relationship forged in Nintendo, and you and I have our relationship forged in Nintendo. It was because of Nintendo, and it was because of you telling the story about your mom driving you to Sears or wherever it was
to the mall
to go buy your NES, and like you had like a play-by-play recall of that story, and like that just doesn't exist for anything else. No. And so it's easy to say now that Nintendo's on top again, but Nintendo is very special, and I'm very happy that you asked me on this show because it's fun to talk about, man. I can't help. I realize I just like I find myself just smiling when I talk about these things, and it's just it's so much fun. it's kind of like when Chelsea sends me pictures of what her and the kids are up to during the day. Like I don't mean to smile. I just like I find myself like, oh, look at that. I'm looking at this picture. I'm just smiling. So it's just Nintendo's great. I love it. And because of Nintendo, like you and I are we're lovers for life, my friend.
This is true. This is true. So I got two announcements I want to make. One, next Saturday, Nintendo Talk Live should be worked out. We're still finalizing, but it should happen. Miss Click will be the guest on the show.
Oh.
And the other thing is you guys may not know when the next Nintendo Direct is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a rumor floating that there could possibly be a Nintendo Guru Direct in April. That's all I'm going to say. We're just going to leave it there. And
April?
April. We'll see what happens.
What's in April?
Well, something. Apparently something. So we'll see. So I just want to put that teaser out there. We'll put that teaser out there. Dallas Robbins in the house. What is up? So that is all.
Aw.
Sean, real quickly, let the people know, where can they find you at?
Oh, well, they can find me right beside you every Sunday on If You're a Nintendo,
Yes,
Bobby.
yes.
Here at youtube.com/Nintendo Guru. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Sean Capri. And I also do the Xbox Drive with my good friend Luke Lohr, where I record a podcast from my car. I have my laptop in my passenger seat, but I think most of the people here know that. But if you guys have heard me say about all that stuff and you still haven't really checked out because you're not an Xbox person, it's a good show, man.
It is a good show.
Like it's a good show. And let's be honest, Xbox doesn't really have any exclusives, so like you don't have to worry about feeling like you're not involved. Like all the games that we talk about are probably on the system that you play anyways. Yeah. So just check it out. It's a good time. Luke is super smart.
That's you basically went back and you're doing If We Ran Nintendo during the Wii U era. So
exactly.
That's what it feels like, I'm sure.
Oh, trust me. I feel like when we came up with the idea for the Xbox Drive, I'm like, this is us putting in time. We're going to ride this thing out, but one day, Xbox is going to turn around.
One day it'll go back to the glory days and we'll be sitting in the catbird seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what? We should just be doing it the way the OK Beast guys are doing. Just launch a thing as soon as it becomes popular. They got that Apex Legends podcast, number 2 on the podcast. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's crazy. Good for them.
They're nuts.
I know.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. This will definitely be up on iTunes next week. Jonathan Brown should be up this week, just so you know. I'm like a week behind on the podcast on that thing. So
you have a lot of podcasts.
A lot of podcasts. 5 to be precise.
You really have 5?
I have 5 shows, man. I'm nuts. Anyway, that is all. Thank you guys. Peace out, Preston.
Bye. Ciao.